So, our town is on the verge of collapse in the sense that you can literally see it in the foundations of the buildings. Slowly, different burgage plots and crafters are beginning to dilapidate. Our tools, the very things that we need to hold this place together, have completely run out. If we don't act fast, everything we've built, all the sweat and timber we've poured into this place, is just going to turn to dust. There's only one thing that can save us now: iron. So, today we're finally doing something we've put off for far too long. We're starting our first ever iron production in a desperate race against time to forge the tools that we will need to save our home. The problem? The ground under our feet only has so much to give. The clock is ticking before this mine runs dry and our fate is sealed. It's a slow death, you know. You don't notice it at first, a building here, maybe a workshop there, but then the notifications start piling up. Buildings require maintenance. Let's just look at our woodcutter's lodge right here. Its condition is already bad and the family's productivity is suffering because of it. If we don't get tools for this family, our delicate supply and demand chain will crumble from unproductivity, and once that starts, it's a terrifyingly fast spiral into a failed town. And as we pan out across the town, it's not just this one building. It's also the saw pit and the logging camp. The actual backbone of our tiny economy. We can see it in our resources. Our tool count is 0. A big, fat, unforgiving 0. We have nothing to fix anything with. So this is it. This is the crisis. All our hard work setting up food and trade means nothing if our people lack productivity. The solution is obvious. We need to make our own tools, and to do that, we need iron. Okay, so let's take a look at our iron location. We have a small iron deposit right on the outside of town with about 117 pieces of iron in it. But here's the catch. The one detail that puts so much pressure on this whole thing: this is a regular iron deposit. It's finite. You can see it right there. It's a set amount of iron ore. Once we dig it all up, it's gone. Kaput. So that's the setup for our whole game plan today. This isn't a permanent fix, this is an emergency patch-up job. We're building a temporary, inefficient, but absolutely necessary iron production line just to stop the bleeding. It's about surviving right here and right now. We'll get the town stable and then we can worry about the future. The plan is a 3-step chain. We need a mining pit for the ore, a bloomery to turn that ore into iron slabs, and a smithy to forge those slabs into the tools we desperately need. So let's get into it. First things first, we need to get that raw iron ore out of the ground, and that means building a mining pit. Where we place this is not super important right now, as eventually this mining pit will run dry. However, the building has to be placed right on top of the iron deposit. It doesn't need to cover the whole thing, but it does have to be touching it. And here's a prime example of why you don't wait as long as I did to build this. As you can see, we actually need a tool to be able to build the mining pit now. So we are going to have to come into our, our trading post here. And we are going to import just a few tools for now, which is going to be a painful price, but we need them. So we're going to start with 5 for now, and we'll come back in a second and start building up that iron pit. All right, we have some tools. So we're going to put this right here on the deposit, nice and simple. Normally I would do something a little less basic, but I have grander plans for our bloomery and forgery, as eventually this resource node will run dry and eventually this iron mine will be abandoned. So let's get this spot in and let's get this mine built. And there it is. The mining pit is done, and as we look at it, it's not much, just a hole in the ground with some wood around it, but right now it represents the next stage of South Namalia's growth. Now, for the next tough decision, who's going to work it? The mining pit can take up to 4 families, but for now, I'm just going to assign 2. We'll pull them from the surplus workforce that we currently have, as again, this is a temporary item and we can always just unemploy it later on. Now, this iron ore is completely useless as is. We have to process it to purify it into something we can actually use. That's the job of the Bloomery. This building takes that raw iron ore and, with a lot of heat, turns it into iron slabs. These slabs are the middle step before we get to our precious tools. But the Bloomery can be a bit of a bottleneck. This building is hungry. First, it needs a constant supply of fuel to keep its furnace roaring. It burns through either firewood or maybe even charcoal. We have to make sure our fuel supply can handle that huge of a demand. So let's do a quick check on our fuel, which has a really good stock of charcoal and a decent stock of firewood. But we'll need to keep an eye on it. If it runs out, the Bloomery goes cold and our entire iron production grinds to a halt. Second, the Bloomery has its own speed limit, in a sense. You can't just dump a mountain of iron ore on it and get a mountain of slabs instantly. This is where balancing the whole chain is so important. If we have too many miners and not enough Bloomery workers, we'll just end up with a huge pile of useless ore sitting around. Now for placement. Normally, I'd stick to our keep it close rule and build the Bloomery right next to the iron pit. However, we have to think long term. We know this iron deposit is finite, and once it's depleted, we'll need to start importing iron ore. So with that in mind, I want to stick the Bloomery closer to the trading post. It's a strategic move. For now, it means a longer walk for the workers carrying ore from the mine, but it will save us a massive headache later on when we switch to imported ore, and then the resources will flow efficiently from the trading post directly to the Bloomery. So let's get this built. And again, let's fast forward through the construction. You can see the ox bringing the timber. Our villagers are working hard. They know how important this is and how imperative it is for us to get some tools into our settlement. And it's done. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. We're going to assign just one family here for now. We don't have a huge flow of ore just yet, so one family should be able to keep up just fine. All right, as we watch this little industrial zone come to life, we're making some real progress. The first iron slabs are just moments away from being smelted. If you're enjoying watching us try to pull this town back from the brink, let's see if we can get this video up to 25 likes. Hitting that like button and subscribing really helps this channel out by appeasing the almighty algorithm. So thank you for showing your support. We have ore, we're about to get iron slabs, but we still don't have any tools. For that, we need the final piece of the puzzle, the smithy. The smithy is the grand prize. This is the building that takes those iron slabs and lets a blacksmith hammer them into the tools that will save this town. This is the whole reason we're doing this. Once we have the tools, our people will automatically start using them to fix their homes and workplaces. This means our smithy needs to produce enough tools fast enough to keep up with that constant demand. If we make them too slowly, we'll just be treading water, fixing one building while another one breaks. We have to get ahead of the decay. So let's talk about placement. Following our long-term strategy, we'll place it right next to the Bloomery over by the trading post. This creates our permanent industrial hub. For now, the ore has a bit of a journey from the temporary mine, but the processing of slabs into tools will happen right next to one another. And in the future, we're importing ore. The entire chain from the trader to the Bloomery to the smithy will become incredibly efficient. We'll grab the smithy and drop it right here. Everything is already connected to pathways, and this will ensure that we have a connection to our central storage. That way, the finished tools can get to the marketplace quickly and out to the people who need them much faster. And it's complete, our first smithy. We have put a family on it right away. This family, led by what we'll call our town's first blacksmith, has the most important job in the whole settlement right now. So let's watch. Let's see how this magic happens. So first we can see these workers at the furnace melting down the iron ore and putting it into a bit of a rectangular shape. Honestly, actually, I kind of got myself distracted here. That animation is gorgeous. You can even see the sparks flying. And now he's going to transport this over to our smithy. So let's take a look at this resource bar. It went from 0 to about 4 tools so far. We have at least, 4. So let's speed up the game a little bit and see how that number grows. And now the moment of truth. We have the tools, but what is the real impact? Let's click on one of those original buildings and take a look at it. It's being well maintained, and its productivity is climbing back up to about 100%. It's only at about 93 for now, but it's better than where we started. The family living and working here can finally do their jobs properly. They're not just surviving, they are thriving once again. The entire backbone of our economy, which was honestly suffering and probably about to snap, is finally being reinforced once again. This isn't just about one house or one workshop. The effect is rippling across the entire settlement. Let's come on in and let's pull back up our resource tab here. See this? Before, we were in a constant deficit. Everything was red, and now look, we have a positive production surplus. We're not just making enough to get by, we're actually making more than we consume. The tools have enabled everyone to work more efficiently. Our town isn't just patched up, it's stronger and more productive than it was before the crisis began. So let's recap. Our town was crumbling, literally. We were starting down a total collapse because we ran out of tools. We found the problem, came up with a plan, and in a race against the clock, we built a whole 3-stage production chain from nothing. We balanced our workers, managed our resources, and watched as the very first tools were forged in our new smithy. And as we saw those tools immediately go to work, pulling our settlement back from the edge, we stabilized. We've survived, and for now, we're doing pretty good. But our iron deposit is shrinking. The clock is still ticking, maybe even louder than before. We have to use this stability to expand. We have to claim a new territory, search for one of those super rare rich deposits, and figure out how to build a permanent deep mine before this one is just an empty hole in the ground. But the road to influence can be a long one, and the race for survival is far from over. It's only just entered a new, more dangerous phase. So thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.